In a federal courthouse, a judge has blown up in the middle of court. Scott McFarlane tweeted out, "Flash, judge erupts at hearings as Justice Department reveals dismissal of yet another recent D.C. criminal case. Judge Zia Fariqui, we're past the point of constitutional crisis, embarrassment, and shame for the government. This is just a rush to get stats on Twitter or Truth Social," is what the judge said in open court. The judge slams Justice Department for being past the Rubicon as they dismiss federal charges against Edward Dana, who was charged with threats against president. Dana recently broke a light fixture, was drunk, claimed to police to be in the Russian mafia, said he'd fight fascism even if it meant to kill a president, per charges. He was held in jail for a week. The feds dismissed charges 30 minutes before the hearing today. The judge apologized to Dana for his treatment by feds and uncorks a 10-minute raised voice statement stemwinder at Justice Department's prosecutor, saying, "We're acting like this is all normal." Judge says Trump administration is playing cops and robbers like children. Judge Fariqui about Washington, D.C. right now said, "What's to prevent people from just getting rounded up off the streets?" What indeed? And there's been a lot of coverage about these grand juries in Washington, D.C. Janine Pirro keeps trying to bring these people up under the harshest crimes you can attribute to whatever they arrested them for. And it's all been a bunch of bullshit. They're trumped up charges, no joke. And there's been a lot of coverage on this about how 6 or 7 no bills in a row. You don't take something to a grand jury and have them come back and say, "Bullshit. Get this out of here." These grand juries, they sit sometimes for 18 months at a time. This is 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. They give up their jobs while they're doing grand jury work. So they take things seriously. They take crime seriously. And for them to tell the regime 6 or 7 grand juries in a row now, no charges here. Throw them out. Bullshit. We're arresting people for First Amendment right to say what the fuck they want because we still live in a free country. Or do we? Like this judge is saying, we're past the Rubicon. We would stop acting like this shit is normal. You're just trying to fucking trump up statistics so you can change the narrative around it. This is all what this is about. This is such a fucking reality show administration. Everything is choreographed, and everything's for ratings, and everything's for, it's just a bunch of bullshit. Propaganda central, man. And when the DOJ is presenting cases before the grand jury, the only people there are the DOJ lawyers. They're the people, they're putting forth evidence to these grand juries who sit and see evidence every single day, 5 days a week. And they're saying, no, get this shit out of here. No bill. All these no bills in a row. Just bringing shame upon the D.C. prosecutors. So the judge says, judge slams Justice Department for being past the Rubicon as they dismiss federal charges against Edward Dana, who was charged with threats against the president. Dana recently broke a light fixture. He was in jail for a week, and they dismissed the charges. And the judge apologized to the guy. This is what the judge said. The feds have time to collect the stats and have press releases. But where's the time for people illegally detained? Judge notes how frequently grand juries have rejected Justice Department indictments in the past couple of weeks. He blasts the Justice Department for saying it's working out the kinks in its work. The judge says these are people with names and rights. The judge orders the Justice Department to make filing by 5 p.m. to explain its handling of Dana's case and how it's going to fix the problems in the future. Judge Fariqui said, it's September 4th now. As of now, we still have a constitutional democracy. So the judge says, while we're still a democracy, I'm going to sit here and do my job as a federal judge. The Judge Fariqui said about Justice Department, it's not that they're losing credibility. We're past that point. The judge also said about the wave of cases filed during Trump police surge in D.C. The volume of motions to dismiss raised grave concern. People like Mr. Dana are suffering the consequences. She said to the Justice Department, "You created this mess. Too many misfires." He said that the feds are operating under the concept of, we'll arrest people and then see what happens. The defense attorney spoke briefly in court and said that the criminal case was ridiculous. She said even if a 15-year-old would know that this case was not a criminal threat against the president. The judge asked out loud, what amount of money undoes this harm to those charged in these dismissed cases? He suggests to the defense attorney that she seek a remedy against the government for this case. Oh, I love this. About the military who are now being designated to help the U.S. Attorney Office in D.C. handle the waves of cases in this federal crackdown in D.C., the judge wonders why none are being deployed to help the federal defenders managing an exhausting caseload. And then the judge said about the people whose cases are being dismissed, the arrest will be on their record. It'll impact the arc of someone's life. The prosecutor tells the judge that the case was initially authorized by a superior. Oh, okay. And then the judge slammed the U.S. Attorney for D.C. and head of its criminal division for not showing up in court to explain the decision in Dana's case. The judge said they have time for press conferences and tweets, but not for this. Finally, the judge looked over at Edward Dana and said, the government's message to people who look like Mr. Dana is, be very afraid. The judge says, I am afraid right now. Check this out. ICE has begun to arrest women outside their domestic violence hearings starting in Chicago. One woman had case dismissed by a judge only to be immediately detained by agents. Women are being forced to choose between staying in an abusive relationship or potential deportation. The network advocating against domestic violence is encouraging all survivors to file for orders of protection online and not to schedule in-person hearings. Please contact the Illinois Domestic Violence Hotline with any other legal questions. That's as ICE agents detain a woman at domestic violence courthouse in Chicago today. An advocacy network said that these actions will undermine survivors' trust in our legal system to be a resource to them and will discourage survivors from coming forward if they fear immigration will be at their next court hearing and take their loved ones. This is just so fucking disgusting. Unknown officers arrest Ohio woman, hand her over to ICE in secluded parking lot. Officers reach in through car window and forcibly drag her out after refusing to show badge numbers. Then they drive her around town to the back of a bank parking lot, hand her over to a group of men that she later learned were ICE agents. At least one of the officers detaining her in this video appears to wear a badge for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives. Marlon Ortiz Soto is a 24-year-old woman who is legally seeking asylum from violent attacks against her in Honduras. She was scheduled to attend a hearing on her case in September. Now she is locked up without bail in Butler County, Ohio. And here's somebody who, the Midas Touch just brought this out. Christopher Webb retweeted, as a parent, aunt, uncle, grandparent, human being, if you don't feel for this young woman and see the injustice here, you're dead inside. Deported to Guatemala. She's an honor student, a track star. She doesn't even speak Spanish. And this isn't the worst story out there, not by a long shot. She had no idea where she was going when they deported her. That's how cruel and broken this system is. She doesn't know anybody in fucking Guatemala. Now what's going to happen to a young girl over there, sent over there alone and just released by fucking bullshit? This is a teenager. This is all a bunch of bullshit. I'm glad our federal judiciary is holding these people's feet to the fucking fire. These fascists, these fucking authoritarian fucks taking teenagers and deporting them. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of doing stories on it. I'm not going to stop, but I'm just sick of it, you guys. This is bullshit. This is a fucking teenage girl taken away. She said she misses her cat. She's not home. She doesn't know anybody in Guatemala. She's a teenager. Trump's America. I know there's going to be people in my comments saying, yeah, I voted for this. So much winning. I guess if you're trying to win, like, I have a gross, black, shriveled up little fucking soul contest. Yeah, you're a winner all day long, motherfucker.